Where are you? There you are.
Then I can.
Yeah, there you are.
That's
you can
good.
come in.
That's a good. Because I really want to talk to you about one thing. Because when I look at the world right now, there is this, like, we want to find the ignition for sex all the time. It's in the magazines. It's everywhere. It's like we're so afraid of losing that horniness and all that thing. And at the same time, there is this longing to feel deeper. I see it everywhere. And of course, I can't say that it's all a reflection of me, but that's when I look at the world, I see that. And at the same time, I see all these ideas that the monogamous relationship, it doesn't work. Everybody can see it doesn't work. People are going from each other. They have sex with other partners without saying. They lie to each other. There's a lot of people that are singles and all that. But I feel, and in that, they talk about polyamory and all this. But I have a feeling that there is something much deeper in the relation, and it opens right now for us as human beings. There's a deeper understanding. There's a deeper possibility in our intimacy.
Yeah, much of what you just said, I would add more to that, because that was your statement.
Exactly.
I would have put that slightly different.
Yes. Please do.
Because I wouldn't say that monogamous relationships don't work. I would say what doesn't work is not being aligned with your heart in any relationship. That leaves you totally open for your heart to move, where you relate from and to what do you relate from your heart. So your heart chooses how you move in this life, and not you as the belief that you're a separate entity, as a self, as an ego identity. Yeah? So then, to me, what one is a profundity, and that everyone has, regardless of how their self has been constructed, because we construct ourselves, that behind everyone is deeper meaning. And to connect with that deeper meaning, one will have to awaken from the belief that you're a separate sense of self. And that happens mysteriously somehow. Don't ask me how that happens. It's just like when one is ripe, something opens in you that you know more than your experience and more than your sexual experience.
Explain ripe.
Ripe means, for no particular reason, your beingness has touched you deeper than your self-experience, and you've known the touch or the calling of your being, and suddenly in an instant there's more meaning in a single moment that does not get reflected by how you live. Suddenly you're knowing more than your experience. And often, because you're asking questions around sexuality, often when people are endeavouring to discover God, because I would suggest that anybody that's having sex, anybody that wants to use their sexuality or explore sexuality, their deepest calling is to discover what sexuality is, where does it come from, and what is the meaning behind it. Do you follow that? But obviously, when we first move towards sexuality, and that will depend on the individual, because you can be pretty innocent in the awakening to sexuality when you're a youngster, and be sweetly innocent as you move towards another, and explore sexuality not from want and need, but the exploration of some communion and connection that you know you must go towards. It's like somewhere in you, in that connection with another, you're developing an awakening and a power in which the universe moves. You're awakening to a deeper meaning of what you are, and a deeper power of movement that is more than you as a separate sense of self, and somewhere you know that's contained in the movement of sexuality. Whether you discover that is not a movement of sexuality moved only by your separate sense of self, your ego, but a movement that's moved by your heart, that will be your discovery. Do you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you move towards sexuality from want and need, sex becomes a power that distorts reality, and you'll believe as someone that needs something from another.
Yes.
And so then you'll get you'll experience sex for a me that doesn't actually exist. And I believe everyone goes through that until they either awaken from that or not. And if they're serious in discovering the love within themselves and the love within another, then they awaken from the need to have sex, but the calling to discover true sexuality and the making of love. Because then you might discover that true sexuality is a way in which you communicate and commune with the universe with your body, and not just with your spirit or your being. That this is the union of your being in your heart with your body, and it's actually how you came into existence. The movement of your being and the movement of energy joined, making the body. It's a love-making process that's eternal and actually births stars. So there's a deeper meaning behind sexuality, and a power that does not belong to a particular someone. But if you move into it as a sexual someone, then that power becomes a tremendous distorted power that can move and manipulate your life and self. And if you awaken to what your sexuality really belongs to as a heart, you begin to be able to commune the mystery of what you are into the mystery of what another is. And that opens up to a sublime movement of the meaning of why you would ever make love, be sexually alive from the heart with another. You're exploring the meaning behind what calls you to unite your bodies through your heart, through your mind, through your experience. There's actually something being made. You become a porthole for what's beyond, and the making of love brings it here, and you begin to know it, and it transforms your body, your mind, your sexuality, your life.
But that's very painful, I find.
Painful in that it exposes the use of self as a particular perceived someone who needs and wants something. The pain is only that empties out true making of love, empties out the lower levels of the nervous system that were being used to have something for oneself.
Yes. Do you feel that pain sometimes?
I experience it in the people.
Yeah.
I experience it
but
in the people.
But not in yourself.
I don't have it in myself.
No.
But I experience it in the people because I got so open that I experience where everyone is moving and how they're moving.
Yes. Because I find I have talked to my girlfriend, and that's the first time it happened in my life that I have a partner and we looked into each other's eyes and say to each other, I want to unpack everything that's inside you, and I do the same. And that journey of vulnerability and honesty, I think it changes everything. I even have long periods when I think that the sexuality is so noisy that I can't even stand it. I hate it because this whole story about sexuality that is in me,
But you have to go through that.
Yeah.
That's the level of self-development, that if you're attracted or you're called to another through union, intimate union, as being and as having bodies, then your bodies, your nervous system, will empty out how you used to move, how you used to pattern your sexuality. Because your sexuality has a direct effect on how you're putting your life together. How you think, how you feel, what you do, why you do it, who for, what for. And so sexuality is directly aligned with the movement of life in the universe. And therefore it's directly aligned with the movement of life is you. Yes. And so if your life belongs to a deeper meaning that you are endeavouring to point towards, a deeper meaning begins to open up. And you get to know the levels of your old self that you didn't know that. There need to be forgiveness there and knowledge there, because that level will come up. That's the pain that you're speaking of. But if you judge that level, you're still misinterpreting what this life is really about. Because you have to wake up from those lower levels of sexuality. And your sexuality, in other words, your body, sexuality is the movement of the entirety of your life, not just your genital area.
No.
Then sexuality begins to be very clear how you know and feel the universe through a deeper enlightenment of heartfulness.
Yes.
You are awakening. So then everything starts to come towards you in that how you make love for the making of love and the understanding of what you are, who the other is, and you're deepening into each other to know each other deeply. You come upon realms of pure being and pure love that wasn't possible while you were having sex.
Yes.
Because your being won't open to having sex. The mystery won't open to having sex. Just pain and frustration will open with that. And so there will be an emptying of that as you reorientate your sexuality, your life, and your sexuality as intimacy with another, sexual intimacy with another. As it reorientates from moving from knowing in the heart, then there'll be a self-emptying and also a self-enlightenment. You'll begin to know the presence of love. It won't be so noisy.
No.
It'll be stiller, deeper,
Yeah.
more depth, but also a deeper sense of passion for life.
I totally understand what you're saying. And I feel sometimes I'm at that moment where I feel that love and God totally lives through me and my movements and my words, and then I go to a new point when it's totally dark again.
I understand that.
Yeah.
That's because when you're moving in deeper levels of what you are, and that opens up in your sexuality, you're moving in deeper levels of what is pure sexuality, then that gives you the possibility of self-transformation. Then that awakening in that level of your being, that level of your heart, that level of your sexuality dives down to the shadow spots. And there it looks like you've gone back to the same old thing. But what's really happening is you've moved into shadowy levels of sexuality that you now have knowledge about a higher realm of purity. And there you'll sit and you'll speak of those levels to those old levels. You'll bring enlightenment to those levels. You'll move those levels differently. And those levels begin to open and respond to you. Now they're not so shadowy. They begin to open, display how you put that together. And a great deal happens as you, through a higher communion of meaning in your life and in your sexuality, that level's raised. And often what will come about from that, if your love of God or realization is through an other, then you'll be able to commune that and know that through a purer relatedness with another. The mystery of that unfolds. A lot takes place.
Oh yeah. I have to tell you that from the first time many years ago that I heard you speak, you've been a big inspiration for me. It's like the way it's not only your words, but the way you put your words, it's like I know them inside of me. So I got this very, very familiar feeling.
That's because I don't separate what you are from what I am. That's pure sexuality. I'm actually knowing you in pure sexuality from my being. So then we become one body, one love, one knowing, and one experiencer, and one experience. Therefore I can share my deepening experience of being and of the sexuality, the pure sexuality opening up in my being. I can transmit that to you because I'm able to be completely open to you.
Yeah.
That's pure sexuality. So then it's not a mental thing.
No.
It's embodied in the cells and you can know it.
And you know that thing you're speaking about, that's wonderful, because sometimes with the inspiration of this, I've been able to do the same.
Mm-hmm.